It's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and dale to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary. 'Cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road.
The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid.
But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee. A fwit-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Adventures waiting further down the road.
Let's go!
We have 100% hired the correct staff for this job.
You may all call me Doctor.
I am Myrtleline, the grunt repair. I'm a repair guy. But if you have anything that needs to be like broken and then fixed again,
And I am Bigor. Previous experience involves being a test subject for
Mr. Dr. Pepper.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday night here on Nat 21 Adventures. I am your host tonight, Robert Turk, author, game designer, successful Kickstarter entrepreneur, and this is the Goblonia time slot. We are not actually running a mission tonight. We ended our mission last week. That's why I am not dressed in my normal Weaver clothes. Some of us are not dressed in normal clothes at all. or normal goblin clothes. We're doing that for Sally tonight. And before I brought everybody else in, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you. When we decided to do Goblonia on Nat 21 Adventures, we were doing it to start with to advertise the game and the Kickstarter and get it out there so people could see it and download the free version and get excited about it. The response to this show and the performers on this show has been so outstanding that even though the Kickstarter is done, and the Kickstarter was wildly successful, thank you all for that. We raised over $15,000. We needed $8,000 to print the game. We've got more money, and so we're throwing all that into the project. I don't get it. I get that we're throwing all the money into the project. I don't actually get a huge paycheck from this. But that enabled us to hire other writers to do scenarios for the game. It enabled us to commission more art from the amazing Thomas Boatwright and just overall add stuff that makes it a better game for you all. So thank you for that. Thank you for everybody that backed. Thank you for watching and sharing the show and the announcements about that. But also, thank you just for enjoying the show and participating. Because of the responses we've gotten for this show, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep playing Goblonia here on Nat 21 Adventures on Wednesday nights. Sometimes we may toss in another indie game for to break it up, but we're going to keep going. We're not going to say, oh, that marketing, we're done now that the Kickstarter's over. We're going to keep playing adventures for you, missions with crazy goblins week after week. Not next week. We're actually taking next week off. We're making some cast changes. Some people have conflicts, so they're stepping away. We're bringing in some new people. But for now, here's our amazing cast. I'm going to bring them all in. No, I'm not. I'm going to let them introduce themselves one at a time. Here we go. I'm going to pop them up on the screen and let them say who they are, who they play, and what they do for real. Like realsy for real, in the real world kind of thing. Now, outside of Twitch, on Twitch, something else. I don't care. Just somebody else take this away from me. There.
It's me. Hello.
It's you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shoshana Green, and I played Bigor, and it was absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to go back into that world. Seriously, I played in a lot of games in my life, and this is like easily top 5, maybe like top 1 or 2. It's been very great, and a lot of that has to do with my not only the amazing weaving of Robert and the very fun gameplay, but also my amazing players that I play with. You're all so wonderful. It's like slipping into a warm bowl of oatmeal when I come to play with you all. In real life, I'm an actor. I do a lot of immersive theater. I live in Los Angeles. Looking for an agent or manager. So if anybody has any idea how to get one of those, that'd be great. If you want to see me in something, actually this Friday, they're replaying a stream of some Shakespeare I was in. So I'll put info for that if you want to watch people.
Yeah, drop that in the stream. All right. Speaking of warm bowls of oatmeal, let's bring in Cubby.
Oh, hello. I didn't hear you come in. Hi, I'm Cubby. You may know me as Dr. Pibb, Mr. Dr. Pibb, in the hit Nat 21 show Goblonia. Some call it a top 5 of all of the Twitch streams that Shoshana Green has been on. In real life, I'm Cubby. I do theater in Philadelphia area. If you want to see me do something not on Twitch, you might have to know me personally or end up in some very strange locations.
And speaking of strange locations, let's welcome Mab to the stream.
Hi, I am Mab, just Mab. First time caller, long time listener. been a big fan of all things Robert Turk for many years. Rabid fangirl. He doesn't know this, but I actually did get his visage tattooed upon my ass so that I can, casually think of it every time I sit down. And it's actually a 2-cheek spread of, gander, snitch, and really, it's amazing. And I am tickled and pink misted to be working with such amazing people. This might be one of my favorite casts. Don't tell anyone from any of the other shows. Hopefully they can't hear me,
They're not watching.
Yeah. So totally a stalker. Yeah. So what am I doing? I'm a retired sideshow girl, retired goblin. Actually, you never really get that goblin out yet. Once you go green, you never get clean. But nowadays I spend all my time going like this on keyboards. It's like that whole poetry of 10,000 monkeys banging on keyboards will eventually code the perfect website. Yes.
And speaking of 10,000 monkeys, let's welcome Kitty Chaos.
Hi, everybody. I just sat down and because I showed up late again today. However, this time it was not time zone issues. It was entirely hangover related.
My girl.
Definitely partied last night. It was fun. Hi, everybody. I'm Kitty Chaos. I met Robert through the internet. Was helping him playtest Goblonia before we started putting it on the screen. And I've known Shoshi's from a million years ago, but we haven't seen each other in a million years. And I met her and Mab at the same time when they were in the Accidental Circus, and we performed together at one of my favorite venues, One-Eyed Jack's in New Orleans. Really great. Yeah, that was so fun. And Cubby, I just met doing this game, and I love him. Cubby, you're hilarious. You can find me doing various other projects on Nat 21 and in real world. Well, I guess that's real world too. I am a washing well winch and juggler, and also sideshow girl for quite a while. I like to party. Favorite colors, your destiny.
We're gonna take you off the hook. There you go. Actually,
she's
that
like, I
looks
like
okay
to
for tonight,
party.
making us big faces. Yeah. So that's our cast. We didn't miss anybody. We've got everybody right. Next week we are taking the week off. Everybody has other things that they need to be doing, and May Hemmer, who some of you know from the other shows, and the Weird Scouts game that we ran this summer, May will be joining us when we come back on November 17th. So tonight we are doing, since we finished one mission and May can't join till next week, we didn't want to start a new mission without May. And we needed to recover from our grueling 6-week schedule and running a Kickstarter and all the other things that have happened life-wise. So tonight is just really, we're going to do an Ask Me Anything. We're going to hang out with you, our awesome viewers and fans, and answer your questions and cut up and make cheese puns. And so, I mean, we're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about our lives. Anything you want to know, toss it up there. And we'll answer it. Traveling from show to show across the country. That's what Reverend Tommy and I think you put that in the wrong. Okay, hang on.
Well, I don't think I can post links in there.
Oh, okay. We're trying to get Shoshi's links to her Boomstick Theater thing up.
So it's a little complicated. There's 2 links. The Facebook one gives you the instructions and the time and stuff, but you'll actually watch the thing on the YouTube channel link.
Oh.
They made it nice and complicated for everybody.
Nice. All right. So follow
right,
these
how about
complicated
that?
instructions to see Shoshi doing Shakespeare. Was it Lear? Was that the play?
Titus Andronicus.
Titus Andronicus, which I actually
Yeah.
like better than Lear.
I really like Titus. I think it is so modern, or it could be very easily made so modern, and because it's really all about like perception and public opinion and like it's really
There's
good.
some mob mentality in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Murdering your kids and baking them into pies.
Well,
That's
Well, that's
That's
kind
exactly.
of relevant to Virginia
relevant.
right now.
That's
Yeah.
relevant. So yeah, I mean, a lot of this isn't the Shakespeare stream, but we can totally talk about Shakespeare. A lot of Shakespeare's stuff is applicable to a modern audience.
Because he was the thing about Shakespeare that that makes him so that is because he was such a low common denominator author, and he didn't write about he did write about like very high brow stuff, but he wrote it from a low brow perspective. And let me tell you something, the low brow perspective is not changed in several hundred years.
Right.
So
We still are facing the same issues, same concerns, and I mean, it's not like Titus Andronicus took place in Shakespeare's time or King Lear or any of that. These were his histories. He was writing about stories that happened hundreds and sometimes thousands of years ago and bringing them up to speed to make them relevant to his audience. Just so happens they're still relevant to us today. So we did get a question up here. And I'm going to expand this to all of us. What inspired me to get into game creating and building? I have been playing role-playing games, I think, as a lot of geeky people have since early middle school. Now, for me, that was actually a little bit before middle school, maybe, because it was when my parents got divorced. I was in 3rd grade. And I can remember my father getting me the red box Dungeons & Dragons set as a Christmas present. And just that we were staying in a Holiday Inn, because that's what we did when it was his chance to see us. And so I remember playing Red Box Dungeons and Dragons, just me and my dad trying to play that first starter adventure together in a Holiday Inn, not knowing what we were doing at all, and having that little map with the gelatinous cube and everything that you encountered. So that was my first experience, and then I was hooked. This game specifically came out of my character performance that I did as Gandersnitch the Goblin. My dear friend right there in the middle, Mab, convinced me that I needed to write down the stories that I would tell as Gandersnitch in a book. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I like telling them out loud. And she's like, no, you do this thing called Kickstarter. And then you don't have to pay any money for it. And people just give you money and you make the book. I said, all right, if other people pay me to write this book, I'll write the book. And so that happened. And people loved the character Gandersnitch. They loved the world that I had created. And in the back of my head, I thought this would make a good role-playing game. And so for the past 7 years now, I have wanted to make the Goblonia role-playing game. But I knew that it was bigger than what I could feasibly make and make well. So I started smaller, and I entered a 200-word role-playing game contest. With a game that I had created. Oh, this is getting weird now that it all ties together. So a game I created called Purgatory House, okay, which was about being trapped inside a haunted house that you couldn't escape from, which actually came from a dream that I had in which Shoshi and I were trapped in a haunted house and Shoshi died. All right. And
wait, that at the New York Fairy Festival that you had that dream?
No, it was at my house, but it was shortly after the New York Fairy Festival. And I actually messaged Shoshi the next day to make sure she was okay.
Wait, Shoshi? Shoshi Ruth, who died 15 years ago this very night?
Right? But it was this dream about this endless house that you couldn't escape from. And as I started doing research and realizing this is a universal cultural story. It's a dream that lots of people have. I was like, oh, this would make a cool horror game. I wrote 200 words. I didn't win the contest because 200 words to do a role-playing game, that's not very many words at all. But it went on to become a published role-playing game that ended up doing very well. And then from there, I made a couple more, all building up to finally being ready to make Goblonia, to get it out there. We've been working on it for 6 years. It's gone through a lot of variations, a lot of changes. And it was actually the lockdown that convinced me it was time to do it. Because I also write fiction, and I had written a children's book, a middle grade novel, that also won some awards the year before the lockdown. And I was starting to work on number 2. And as my mood got darker, as the world got more in trouble, I realized I was killing off this girl's family, and that this was not the state of mind to be in to write a middle grade novel. So I switched gears. I said, hey, who out there wants to play test Goblonia with me? Let's get this done. We've got some time sitting around, nothing else to do. We started doing it.
Enter Kitty.
Boom. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Right,
That's
so-
really interesting. When I didn't realize that you started the other games that you created to build up to Goblonia. I didn't even know that.
Well, I mean,
That's really
they're good
fascinating.
games that once I started working on them, I wanted to create. But I originally started making them because I knew I didn't know enough about printing and publishing and the gaming industry to make the game I wanted to make. I knew that I needed to experiment and learn and get my head wrapped around it. I knew how to print books because I had printed 3 books at that point. So I knew the basics of layout and printing and things, but I didn't know like the gaming industry and game design side of it. Yeah.
Joshi, you looked like you wanted to say something. Or was it just the distraught at being dead this whole time?
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
sorry you had to find out this way.
Yeah, it's cool.
It happens to us all. So
So, it's kind of a follow-up question, and I'm loving the questions that people in the comments are throwing down because they are really good questions. But I wanted to know, were you always like a writer for publishing? Because you've got some mad, wordsmithing chops that I've always respected and leaned on heavily.
Evidently, I wrote well in middle school and high school and maybe even elementary school. Like I can remember in elementary school, you got to make those books.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
You got to make books with drawings. And I can remember having a blast doing those. And evidently I was making little books. Like I went and when I got glasses and my visit to the optometrist, I made a book and shared it with my first grade class. Now I didn't remember this until my mother reminded me, and I look back and I'm like, oh yeah. So, but then I stepped away from it. Like I did not enjoy writing in college. I tried to avoid it as much as I could. And I didn't really enjoy writing in high school. I could BS my way through it. I can write fast when I sit down to write. But it wasn't until I wrote poetry. Like I would come home from a festival and in the car as my mind wandered, I would write poetry.
That's a very long, weird question.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing is like before you were a writer person, I knew you as an artist who made masks and goblin dolls at these festivals. And,
right.
I never associated you as a writer. I don't even know where you should write a book came in. I don't even know. I must have been drunk.
We were drunk. We were at the Maryland not Renaissance Festival, Fairy Festival.
Fairy Festival.
And it was after a grueling hot day. And where everybody else had gone out to the drum circle, but we had gotten our own private drum circle the night before, in which the musicians that they had housed in the same room with us wouldn't shut the hell up and let the performers sleep that had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, put on their makeup and go out to entertain. So after that, we never housed with musicians at that show again because there were complaints filed on both sides. One of them of, oh my God, can you believe these people were up making noise at 5 o'clock in the morning when we're trying to sleep? And the flip side of that, oh my God, can you believe these assholes were up playing music at 3 a.m. in the morning when we're trying to sleep because we got to get up at 5? So
I want to actually take this opportunity to point out that I was both of those assholes.
Right. So Matt just didn't sleep. And you had asked me about, because I was working on a storytelling thing with a new character I was working on, Jesse Dew, telling Appalachian stories. And you had asked me about Gandersnitch stories. And I said, I don't do those anymore because Gandersnitch had started as an onstage storyteller. And I would get my crowds, I would pull my crowds up, and it was always toddlers. Kids would sit toddlers down in front of me. They would hear storytelling, and they'd sit toddlers down. And I would tell people, these are stories about farting and picking your nose and cutting off heads. And they wouldn't listen. The kids would listen.
Fun fact, toddlers do that.
I know they do that. They don't cut off heads. But I would have parents come up to me after the show
Have you
and
never
say,
seen them play with a doll?
well,
You were real
It's
lucky
gone.
with your kids.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
my
Yeah.
kids did decide to redesign their curtains with a pair of scissors at one point.
If I had $1 for every toddler that cut off my head,
Right. Right.
I used to
I
have
stopped.
3 brothers.
You had 3 brothers
Yeah, now I just got the 2.
and an extra head.
Well, I mean, we
Well, I mean,
buried
spare
all
parts.
of them. We didn't keep the head.
Oh, you buried all of them? You didn't like keep a
You
souvenir?
didn't recycle?
No, we covered it up. It wasn't like a serial killer thing.
I mean, it's clearly an option to have like a third arm. I mean, it's in the family.
I had a
you can
stepbrother that
still
had a
say you had,
second
like,
thumb, like a third
3.
thumb, really, because he had 2 thumbs, but he had a third one growing off next to his second one. True story.
Did it like help with video games? Because
No, they cut it off because he looked weird. He just had the scar.
That breaks my heart.
I mean, I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna
Let's go to
throw
the
this
next question.
Before Sky has to like throw her disappearing act. Cubby. Hey, Cubby.
Yeah.
Sky has a question for you.
Oh, I can read it right on the screen.
Oh, yes. You
Well,
can.
I'm gonna be completely honest, Sky. It's because I had a lab coat. Actually, I have 2 lab coats because I had a lab coat, and then last summer a theater company I know needed kind of an old-timey looking lab coat for their pharmacist, so I made one for them, and I was like, my lab coat's modern day. I could use one of these. So I also made one myself. Technically, there's 3 lab coats in the house because for our first Halloween, before we were married, my wife and I were Dr. Horrible and Captain Hammer.
Oh, cool.
So I made her a lab coat. So she's got a lab coat, and I have a cheap off-the-rack lab coat and my now Dr. Pibb lab coat
That you
But-
made.
that I made.
That's nice.
That's a nice lab coat.
man, I only have
Yeah.
one lab coat and it's too big for me.
I've
I
got,
think we
like,
should
3.
ask everyone that question, though.
Yeah, I've got
Not-
2 lab
Not
coats.
why did you choose to play a doctor and be a mad scientist, but why did you choose the character that you chose? I mean, what is it about the character you are playing in Goblonia that appeals to you? Why is it? Why
I
is
will
it
say
fun?
on top of that, mad scientists are freaking awesome. And
Yeah,
I do love the abilities too. It's been super fun. The alchemy one in particular.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the abilities are definitely what helped me narrow it down. And when I pick a character for any show here on Nat 21 Adventures, I want it to be a distinct character that's different than the other ones that I've been playing. You know, Kazoo seems to be the most me, slightly psychotic, apparently. Murder, kill. And it was just, and then Loon is like the hippie, and then my goth kid from Savage Moon, and then for Merline, just like the little grunt. And definitely, you bring up a really good point. There is definitely there's no way I can't have Wedgie come out. Because I did play a goblin for so many years of my life. But I didn't want to play Wedgie. I even told Robert that I was like, I could, but I'm not going to play
Right, we
Wedgie.
talked about it.
Yeah. And, but I wanted to be supportive and help the party out. And also, I had never played a servant character before, and that was fun.
I love Myrtleine. She cracks me up so much.
When I put Myrtleine together, I was like, I might even come out of goblin retirement to play this at a festival.
She like you play subservient confidence, which is a very hard combination of things to do, but that's who Myrtleine is. It's great.
And dead sexy. She can though.
Oh yeah. That's a given.
Oh yeah. It's very commedia.
Right.
Exactly.
It's very much the clever servant.
Yeah.
Yes. Which works, which is great.
Don't
All right.
tell everyone my secrets.
I love playing a servant character. That's my favorite. Love it.
Bye, Skylark. Thank you for hanging and asking your question.
Bye.
And everybody else that has asked question, I have them in the scroll back to pop up here and answer them. We're going to get to them. I know we're a long-winded bunch. We start talking and we just keep talking, and that's why you love us. We'll go down.
When you say long-winded, it reminds me of a story.
That's great, Kelby. It's Shoshi's turn.
I was taking the bus into town with an
All right, Shoshi. Why did you pick the character that you played, and what is it about them that appeals to you?
Oh, that's so. Bigor was like, I did very little thinking about Bigor. I usually think a lot about my characters. Like, I'm like, okay, they have a thing, and this is their goal, and this is their. But I knew I wanted to be a kook. I wanted to try that character out, and I knew that I wanted to be a test subject because I thought that would fit in nicely with the group that was already there. And also, that's just fun to me. That's a fun idea. But the whole opera thing,
Right, that came out of left field.
That was a throwaway. I was like, oh, she needs like a little quirk. Oh, all right. She knows an opera person. She knows a thing. And then the second, like, the Twitch started rolling, I was like, she wants to be a star. That first episode, like, I was throwing out all these, like, very theater specific jokes that I didn't even know were in my brain. I was like, where is Bigor getting this information? So yeah, Bigor like literally sprang from my head like Athena from the head of Zeus. I have very little control over who Bigor is. She's really her own goblin. But I love her very much.
I think that's how all goblins are formed.
I love doing a voice like this. Any opportunity I have to do a voice that's like this, I will take it. The only other better thing is if they have that voice and they're also shocked all the time. Ooh!
Oh, wait. I do know how that goes.
Yes.
Now say something shocking.
Bigor hates cheese.
What?
Oh, can we do a round? Just like 1, 2, just all of us being shocked. Our screens are the
You got to
same,
give
so
me a
it has
second
to-
to prepare.
Sure. So it'll go me, Cubby, Kitty, Myrtleine, Robert. Okay. So
Like a
Robert,
wave?
say something shocking.
I have nothing. I words fail me.
Oh,
Oh!
Ooh!
Was it too subtle?
Was that a spit take that we didn't catch on camera?
Yeah, I really wanted to do a spit take, but I'm like, I'm gonna just.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do a
Yeah, I
spit
had a
take
towel
all over
handy.
my computer. I'll just
Yeah. Okay.
Was
All
that
right.
the
So then, how about this one?
The daintiest spit take of all time.
All right,
I did the
we
thing
skipped.
where I dropped my jaw and all of the water fell out.
Yeah, we skipped. All right, okay. I'm gonna put this one on the screen, and then I'll have to scroll back so I didn't lose those. Here you go. That right there is that is for Sally right there. We didn't hit the monetary goal. I promised that if we hit $16,000, we would do the show pantsless. Just because they asked me what happens
until that happened.
Yeah, it was asked, what amazing thing happens when we hit $16,000? We didn't hit it, Kitty. You don't have to.
What?
It's done. All right. It was a throwaway thing of we'll do the show pantsless. How about that? So we didn't talk to Kitty though about Squidge. Now Squidge is a character that you originally created for the playtest. This was your character that you were playing.
Us playing behind closed doors.
Right.
Or behind closed cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, I was playing 3 different goblins because I was playing Zazizel on Nat 21, and then I was playing Pathfinder with friends, like local friends, and then I was playing Goblonia with you. So I was simultaneously playing 3 different goblins for weeks. It was crazy. And so, yeah, I wanted to play a goblin that was very different from the other 2 goblins I was playing. One was, Zazizel. You guys know Zazizel, ex-bad guy turned paladin goblin. And Sepza is this goblin witch, and she's just like really creepy and scary and sassy also. And so both of them are very like assertive characters, and so I wanted Squidge to be something different. And I just finished watching Mab, what was I watching?
She-Ra.
This is She-Ra.
She-Ra.
Right.
I had just finished watching She-Ra.
Because we talked about that.
Trapta.
Yeah, and so I was just so into it. Trapta, I just loved her so much. So I used her as inspiration for this Squidge. And so, Squidge is a tinkerer. She makes things and fix things, and she plays with gadgets, and she talks like this. And she's like, well, that's not her voice. What's Squidge's voice? I already forgot it. It's so in the past. But yeah, so like I based her voice and her way of talking a little bit off of Entrapta. Like she was by no means like to be Entrapta. She just had inspiration from her. And I was also sculpting a lot at the time. And so I was like, yeah, so Squidge, when she's if Squidge is this repair goblin, then people come to her to fix things, and and they just give her their junk, and she just collects all this garbage and makes beautiful sculptures out of it.
Yeah,
which didn't come up as much. Well, no, it did. I totally made a sculpture.
It did. You made a sculpture, and the talking to your own boogers came up.
Yeah, that's I definitely, and that's funny because with the Zazizel, like she's just grown up so much that she doesn't do as much gross goblin crap as she used to, and so I wanted to like get to do all the gross goblin crap, like fart and pee and pick my nose.
Yes, and all of that works in this game. That we talked about everybody's character, right? We talked about everybody's character. Reverend Tommy has a question about mechanics, but there was another character question. Since we're on characters, I think we should go with that question first and then come back to the mechanics questions. And I will answer the mechanics questions because there's some good ones in there. Has anyone played a character that was outside of their personality? I'll start since I read the question. When I am playing Dungeons and Dragons, when I'm playing any game, I play it as a form of entertainment. When I'm playing, when I'm not writing a game is work and story creation for me. But actually getting to play in someone's game, it's a form of escapism. I don't want to be myself in the game. I want to be something that I can't be. So I actually have a lot of fun playing big dumb barbarians, and just hitting stuff and not being the problem solver, just being the one that tends to get the group in trouble. So that's outside of my personality. That's outside of my performance personality as Ganesh the Goblin. That's outside of my stage manager upbringing. That's totally outside of me. But yeah, playing the dumb, violent, not always violent, sometimes it's pacifist, but playing the big dumb character, that I enjoy that. So that's against type.
I gotta say, it's not that it's outside of my personality, or for me, what it is there's a character trait that no matter how small or whatever it is, and then you take that trait and you might get super big, and that is the new focus, and it shifts everything. So there's still elements of me, and whether that trait is absent-minded or nice. So, I don't know.
That would be out of character, playing it. I'm kidding. Mab and I go way back. What about you, Kitty?
The question is, have I ever played a character that's different from, what was the question?
Outside of your personality.
Outside of my personality. I don't know. I feel like, well, for one, I have no idea what my personality is. So I guess I wouldn't know if I was.
But I would say that's also kind of challenging for us as performers and entertainers. I mean, we're trained to assume other personalities. So
yeah, I've been playing characters my entire life.
Right.
Right. Sir Wybet. Yeah, nailed it.
Which one? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I played a lot of characters on this channel. I'm trying to think which of them were farthest from me, and I can't think of that because they're all different aspects of me.
Like a super, I mean, you can be super serious. I've talked to you and you were very serious. Serious. Kitty was serious. So I know you could do that.
If I could answer this question in the most insufferable way possible, I would say that as an actor, I feel my biggest influences are kind of the distillation of character thing, like later stage through a very heavy Uta Hagen focus, but also I do feel very strongly that I connect to things on kind of a commedia clown level. And if you look at the Lecoq clown distillations, you can create a character, but ultimately by portraying it, it will always be filtered through you.
Yep.
So
I know it sounded pretentious, but that's 100% accurate.
My goal was to sound ludicrously pretentious, but also at the same time, I believe every single word I just said.
Nailed it.
Once you said Uta Hagen, I was going to remove you from the stream because I thought you were just rambling, but I accidentally hit the wrong button, and I'm glad I did. So let's put Shoshi up there. I forgot I could do this. I'm sorry, folks. It's easier to see the person answering when they're big, and the rest of us can just sit over here and nod. I'm behind the Goblonia thing, so I'll just doze off. Shoshi?
It's good, and now you lucky people get to see more of my face. I don't know if I've ever played a character outside my personality. I don't know if I could say that for all the reasons that these people said. But I have when I first started playing D&D, I played some like evil characters, and because I thought that'd be fun. I'd be like, oh, I'll do something that's different from me. I'll like it to be evil and there's no repercussions. That's kind of fun. And I hated it. I did not enjoy playing those characters at all because evil is boring. It's very boring. There's no stakes. There's no there's nothing more than just getting, I guess, like glee from horror, but like that's just boring. So I guess early on that's a character type that, and Yeah. Well, I would play an evil character as like an NPC. I could do that, but I think to be like actually evil in a campaign, it's boring. It's too boring.
Yeah, you played an evil character in the previous mission or in the previous campaign of this.
Well,
She wasn't evil.
That wasn't evil.
She
evil.
was just another entity doing the things that entities do. And
Right.
All right.
She was just trying to survive in a world that was outpacing her. She was just making the moves necessary for her own survival.
Wait, what are you talking about? Not in Weird Scouts.
Not in Weird Scouts. No, when you played all the NPCs for Goblonia because you were doing a show.
Oh, yes, because they were NPCs.
Because
so
they were
it's fine to
NPCs.
be evil when you're an NPC, but if you're actually playing a campaign, it's just boring.
It's boring, right? And like you said, because you don't have those stakes. You don't have. I mean, your goals, if you're playing an evil character, are contrary to unless everybody's playing evil characters and you're just all rotten, horrible people. Then it might be interesting, but it's going against the people that you're playing at the table with. And I know some people find that enjoyable, but to me, it's just, you're just screwing up the night's entertainment.
I'm glad I did it once or twice to know, but I don't ever desire to play that again.
I also kind of don't think evil is necessarily real.
Yeah, it's a false dichotomy.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. Okay.
So I will say,
I did promise
Kazu,
that we would answer the other questions, but let's spend some.
I just gotta say,
was it about the
Kazu
duality of
is-
humanity?
Yes, she is not evil, and even the things that Kazu on Tuesday night show, she is not evil. These all that she just doesn't have that same evil as evil does. Her methods may be extreme to some people that are weak and cannot.
This is sounding kind of evil.
So,
all right.
The very first theatrical role that I performed as, and I didn't remember the name because it was in a musical that somebody had wrote and it never went anywhere. But it was about a private prep school, and I was the horrible, rotten, preppy kid that drove another kid to suicide. This was I do remember it was called The Tops was the name of the musical. I don't remember my character's name, but the director.
And what's the snootiest place in Goblonia called?
The Tops. Yes, because it's at the top of Goblonia. Does that tie back to this prep school show I was in? I don't know.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have to ask a therapist about that. But the direction I was given, because I was having a hard time playing this evil character, and the direction I was giving was, your character doesn't think they're evil. Your character is the hero of their own story. Your character just wants to preserve what is rightfully theirs that they have worked for. And this imposter who is not going to cut it tries to step in. So I think that's how you make evil not be boring. And I think when you look at really good evil characters, the recent portrayal of the Joker comes to mind. The character's not played as evil. Okay, I saw the movie for the first time like 2 months ago. So to me, it's recent.
We're all talking about the Jared Leto Joker here, right?
No. The Heath Ledger.
Joaquin. I thought you were talking about Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin, yes, thank you.
I thought you were talking about Mark Hamill as the voice of.
Well, so any of them, the Joker in most
right?
instances doesn't see himself as the villain. I would say in the cartoon he probably does. But
that's why I think like playing a character, like if I was in a show, I love playing evil characters in a theater show.
Right.
That's the best. But that's different than playing an evil character in a campaign where, as you said, you're trying to get along with the other people. You're trying to accomplish a goal. You're trying to
I have to say there was one time where it actually got to be fun because one year in Louisiana, we had way too many people that wanted to play. And so Paulo was like, all right, screw it. We're going to have 2 parties, and everybody in this party is going to be bad guys, and everybody in this party is going to be good guys. Shoshi, you were on the good guys team, and I was on the bad guys team. And this is where Zazizel was born. She started out being a chaotic, evil goblin, and we had so much fun because even we were these evil characters, and we were working together towards our same evil goal. Meanwhile, the good guys team was working to make sure we didn't accomplish that goal. And so like we got to be evil, but not contradict and counteract our team members. And so it was fun.
Yep. Dracula's stepdaughter, first time commenter, first time chat.
Seriously.
Lex Luthor does not see himself as a villain. Right. Lex Luthor. And I think, wasn't Lex Luthor like saved the world a couple of times? I'm not that up to date on comic books. But yeah, I mean, Lex Luthor thinks he's the hero.
So does Dr. Doom. Also, that is a great username.
Yeah.
It is. Yep. I'm like thinking of like, you're not my real dad, Dracula.
What? It is the father-daughter dance. I thought it would be a nice gesture on my part. Tabitha! I screwed up again.
Thank you, Ick. That's exactly what we're talking about. Thank you. That saved me from going down that other horrible musical that You're Not My Real Dad reminded me of. But anyway, Reverend Tommy's question.
It saved me from going down a different rabbit hole.
Different rabbit hole.
Was that dirty?
Specifically asking about game design and determining game mechanics. Because if you're just joining us, which some of you are, this is our Ask Me Anything episode for Goblonia, which is a game that was just on Kickstarter. It was successful. That's the game we normally play on Wednesday nights. We're taking this week to do an Ask Me Anything between missions, and then we're taking next week off because of conflicts. And then Wednesday the 17th, we'll jump back into it, still playing Goblonia, which is a game I designed. And it has a unique mechanic in that it uses a regular deck of playing cards. And another comment was made down lower, which I'm going to pop that one up to as soon as I can find it. Almost everybody has a deck or two of playing cards lying around, and not everybody has dice with varied numbers of numbers. That is quite true. And that was a discussion when I decided that we were going with playing cards for this game. Not only do lots of people have playing cards, like to gamers, we don't think of a set of polyhedral dice as a barrier to entry, but it is to people that have never played a role-playing game before. Suddenly it's like, oh crap, I have to have these special funky shaped dice. Do they come? They don't come in Monopoly. I don't got them. And where do I go to get them? And so for gamers,
really excited the first time I ever played to go get my first pair of dice or set of dice, but I also had someone hold my hand and take me to a place to get it.
Right.
Shiny
Whereas
rocks.
You could get playing cards at the freaking gas station, people. So pretty much anywhere you go, you can get a regular deck of playing cards. That's not to say playing cards are a better mechanic. I'm going to make myself big while I talk about this. I did it. I know. I'm just going to make Shoshi big while I talk about this. And then I'm going to hide now. So to answer, we've got a die with with 21 on it.
See, this is why I like shiny math rocks. Because they're so damn beautiful.
I love dice. I really do love dice.
You and Cubby should have a conversation.
This one is a rainbow glitter translucent, stunning. It is stunning.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, here's a D10 version of that.
I'm gonna have to pull out my latest
Yeah,
dice.
those are real good. Those are real good.
These are my.
Ooh, those are. I backed that Kickstarter too.
Yeah. These
so
dice.
pretty.
These dice have skulls.
Ooh.
This is why I like dice games, mother flickers.
Well, I like
They're
dice games
so
too.
beautiful.
Actually, the very first role-playing game I wrote and published, I wrote it as a joke to run at the convention as Gandersnitch Goblin, as of what Gandersnitch would think of a role-playing game. And it uses all the dice. Every single dice that you own is used in this game. And it is not in print anymore. You can get it on Drive-Thru RPG. I don't promote it very heavily.
Oh,
Is it
pretty
hardcore?
map.
No. Well, dude, I love these things.
Yes,
This is
So
just the ones that I
pretty.
have out. Oh, here we go. Here's the big jar.
but to cover up Shoshi's face and answer the question,
Ooh, what's in there? What is
that's
in
got
it?
gold in it.
It's got gold holographic iridescent glitters.
Whoa.
Yeah. Somebody at the New Jersey Fair just gave these to me when I was there as Echo.
This is a very simple. It's just like a.
I'm gonna
but
break the
the
literal
glitter
wall here.
on this is so stunning. Oh. Here, it looks better as a D10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the ones that I love the most are these layered rainbow ones.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So, yes,
translucent.
you can get dice in lots of different fun shapes and colors, and dice are a great math randomizing function
This is
to
not reading.
game design.
You can't see the gorgeous.
But to answer your question, Tommy, originally Goblonia was based around dice. The system for Goblonia was actually the Weird Scouts dice system, slightly more complicated. The reason I originally released Weird Scouts was to test the dice system for Goblonia and to publish a game with that system in it. And then as we started playing Goblonia again after the pandemic, the dice system wasn't quite working. It works great for Weird Scouts. It wasn't working for Goblonia. And because there was an extra layer of complication to it. I like those candy corn ones.
Oh my god, those are awesome! I need
Oh,
those.
those are so
I
great.
need those.
But one of the players when we were playing the dice system, he goes, "This is confusing. It feels like poker. Why aren't we using poker cards to do this?" And he was a math guy. That was why he was in the playtest. His name is Matt. He is a mathy person. And he ran the numbers and he showed me how the probabilities broke down in playing cards. And I was like, okay, so this will work. This will do what I want it to do mechanically. And we started playing with playing cards, and the system of playing cards has evolved. It has become simpler as we have play tested, because it was quite complicated at one point. But it has that nice
where it has evolved. I like how your current evolution is. Because I did play some of those earlier incarnations. Oh, that's a cute little, just a pink misty, mist dye.
It's got iridescent glitters in it.
Ooh,
It's one of my favorites.
I wish you guys could see the subtleness of amazingness of this dye.
I don't think it's going to show up on camera.
Oh, is it like red, like ruby red?
So it's so. Oh, come on. It's got it's like an oil slick in dye form.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Ooh.
All right.
That's cool.
It's so.
But since everybody is showing off the awesome dye, the pumpkin dye somewhere. Since everybody's showing off the awesome dye,
the number of teeth
is how many it is.
The pit's amazing.
I do want to take a moment though, as people start to get, oh wow, this game doesn't use dice, and I could get all sorts of cool dice. You can get all sorts of cool playing cards.
Yeah, because your cards were definitely a feature of it. Are a feature of our show. When you have all of these awesome decks.
So, and I do collect decks of playing cards, not just because I make role-playing games that are powered off playing cards, and part of the reason is it's a selling tactic when I'm at a convention, and to say, when somebody comes up and says, I don't play role-playing games, I don't have dice or anything. Oh no, you don't need dice. You need a deck of playing cards. This game right here just runs off of blackjack. Can you play blackjack? What do you mean it runs off of blackjack? I got to see this, and then I've got a sale. All right, but yes. playing cards for Goblonia, because playing cards is what ended up working, and they gave the right feel, that sort of risky gambling, push your luck kind of feel that is hard to do with dice. You can do it with dice. A classic dice game, Yahtzee, does it quite well, but to get that feeling at the table, cards worked better. So I've got these cards that were created by Matt Hawk, that are my Goblin playing cards.
Pretty.
And that's the deck I mostly use in Goblonia. This deck was gifted to me the last couple weeks ago when I was at Con on the Cob for playing my science fiction horror game. These are called Sun Gazer. They're bicycle sunspot cards. They've got like the sun on the back, and then they've got these constellation-y looking cards on the inside.
Oh, pretty.
So they were like, this would work great for your sci-fi game, and they're right. Cards are a little harder to show off like those dice are, though, because I got to put them back in the deck so I don't lose them.
I'll be right back.
I picked up, because I like backing them on Kickstarter, this Atlantis deck, which is green and gold foil on the back, and then the figures. This is a beautiful deck. You can't quite see it in here, but there is foil in all of these cards, and it's got Poseidon, and Poseidon's the only face card. This only has one king in this deck. I don't know what I did with the rest of them. I split them out because I played with it. I probably used it at one point. So all sorts of cool things. And then my wife got me as a gift the Avengers collectible playing cards. And these have got the Avengers as the face cards in them. So you got Hulk, you got Spider-Man. So there are lots of cool decks of playing cards. Yes, you can pick up a basic deck of playing cards for like $1, $2 at the gas station, but you can also customize your playing cards to your character or to your game or to your mood, just like you do with your dice. The problem is with collecting dice, you still get to roll them. Collecting playing cards, you don't even want to cut the box open because it feels like you've ruined the deck. Yeah. So that, I hope that answers your question there about why using playing cards. I've done other games with dice, Weird Scouts, and honestly, there's some great games out there that just use a single D6 because that's what works for the game. And you have to.
Didn't you have fancy dice that you made for Weird Scouts? They were like custom D10s for the Kickstarter backers
with acorns on them.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think I have a set of those within reach. I think they're boxed up for the convention that I'm going to this weekend. But yeah, I had them made. So let's see. Let's scroll down through here. See the questions we missed. Okay. How do you deal with the helps and hinders we throw at you? Nat 21 is an audience participation channel. So we let you spend your points to screw with our stuff that's going on. I'm going to be totally honest on this and say we changed how players spend points in Goblonia, specifically when we started the Kickstarter, because I didn't want people to watch these videos to learn how to play the game and us play it wrong. And the first session of Goblonia we played on here, where people were able to add cards to the players and make tests easier, did not showcase the mechanics and the fact that failing is a feature of Goblonia. And so that's why we changed it around. I actually love where we've landed up now, where most people are spending their points as sort of a Hail Mary chance for the players, like that, not that card, or whoops, not that one. And letting them have one chance to do better, which works fine. That doesn't break anything about the game. Or people, oops, you dropped this. Right. Being able to give players crazy ass items in the scene that then they have to try and use because you spent your points on them. I love it. We did have to limit that to one item per viewer per show, because there's some people like Ick the Troll with millions of points who would give us lots of cool items, but it's too much to use. So we did limit that. But I think it's a great way to keep the audience engaged and to let you all have fun and play along with us. So I don't mind them at all. I think if you're doing that kind of thing, you have to find what works for the game, for the show. And I think we've landed on what works for this show. So we're going to keep that going forward. What about, Mab's already given her 2 cents on using the items that you give us. So how does everybody else feel about that?
Oh, they're fabulous. Where's my sheet? I'm keeping it with all the things that I have listed that y'all have given me.
My Dr. Pibb has been saved a lot by the wrong card. Like a lot. So I'm a fan. And I think there was one time that I would have succeeded, except somebody paid points to make it harder.
And I got a card.
And that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love the drops. I love it.
Yeah.
They're so great because it's a little bit of an insight into what the chat is thinking about, and that's very fun. Why would they give me that? I need to figure out why, and then I need to use it for that purpose.
Because they're a bunch of freaks, that's why.
Well, but part of it is also, I think a lot of the audience members are giving things that they think will help in that situation. And and the players are then like, okay, they're giving me a clue, and I've got this thing.
Figure it out.
They want me to go in a particular direction. It's like
this cheese wallet is important.
Right. I want to say ad lib, but that's not what it's called. Is it ad lib?
No, in improv games where
Improv. Thank you. Improv.
Help me pick 3 objects and an occupation and a location. Okay. Your object is a sentient pile of ashes. The location is an opera.
Well, we all watch Miraculous: The Adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir, right?
Of course.
It's like
I have seen that.
It's like when Marinette gets her miraculous object from the ladybug from Tiki. Like, how's she gonna use them? That's one of the most fun parts of every episode.
Oh, this is a TV show. It's not a movie? I thought I watched something about. Was there a movie?
There was going to be a movie.
There was a Christmas special.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a Christmas special. It's musical.
I maybe I'm thinking of a different movie.
You would honestly love this show, Robert. It's great. You can watch it with your kids. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I might not be able to because my kids are kind of grown up now.
Your eldest is tall as.
My eldest is in high school.
Robert.
Yeah, but they don't see it that way. They don't see it that way.
Well, then you can just watch it by yourself.
And I might. Ick the Troll says, I give things that are intentionally completely random. And if at all impossible or functionally useless, if the character environment used for what I give, good on them. We have actually had, with Tommy, we had a conversation before one show about, because we know items are given that we never get to use. And how do we deal with that? And our answer ended up being, because at one point it was like, okay, we've got to put them on the character sheet because people spent points on them, and we don't want to waste those points. But our answer actually ended up becoming, hey, if somebody gives you something and you want to add it to your character sheet for the next mission, go right ahead. But sometimes goblins get stuff as they're running around the city that looks cool and they misplace it. And we don't ever know what happened to it. So everybody does their best to use the cool stuff you give them, but sometimes so much stuff is thrown at us
turtleneck?
that
was
a gasoline powered turtleneck that happened.
That wasn't one. That was two. That was 2 separate items that it gave me. One was more tailored than the other.
Oh, okay.
2 gasoline powered.
I used one of them, and I still have the more tailored one in my inventory.
I'm scrolling back. I don't think I've missed any questions.
But folks,
Also,
you've wasted a perfectly good hour.
Reverend Tommy, when you drop that item, let us know in the chat that that's the item, because I cannot wait for this now. I'm very excited.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I popped it off. Everybody's clicking stuff. Yes. Stick of Buttermite.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that happened. I don't think you were you given the corpse? You
Yes.
were given the
Yeah,
corpse.
we were
I was given a corpse.
You were given
Mhm.
a corpse and had to come up with what you were going to do with it. You didn't actually
had
kill
to
one
die.
of Shoshi's ghost actors to make a corpse. I could not
You
remember.
just gifted us a corpse.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. It's the
Yeah.
gift that
Yeah.
really does keep
I think
on
that was
gifting.
Blondie.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting everyone for Christmas this year.
Is it a corpse?
I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
I want to talk about this one for a minute. So much use out of the prehensile ashes that actually the mad scientist, it's not a mad scientist, the smarty pants calling, which could be a mad scientist, could be a lawyer, could be a writer, could be anything that's smart and depends on their intelligence and figure more than anything else.
A game designer.
A game designer, that's mostly just sheer dumb luck and bribery. But it's knowing the right people that will do art for money. And those people are awesome. Mab wants to take intermission.
No, I was actually
No, somebody was
answering
asking.
Dracula's stepdaughter.
Oh.
They were asking if this was an intermission show or we'll be back.
Yes. So this is an intermission. Our Kickstarter was successful. Ended on Thursday of last week. On Thursday of last week, I was also in the hospital for some tests that were inconclusive. So yay, right? I mean, they turned up that I had nothing obvious is immediately going to explode inside my body. That's so yay, good. But we decided
butt dynamite.
No butt dynamite. I'm
Dynamite.
pretty sure that would be picked up on a CT scan. So we decided that after the Kickstarter and the stress of that and medical issues and people being at shows and all this stuff, that we needed to take a down night and Ask Me Anything. We are taking next week off totally. That's going to be Paulo and the Patron Saints game for their Patreon.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back on the 17th with a new mission of Goblonia and some temporary cash shakeups due to conflicts. Mayhemmer's coming in. Some of our cast members are stepping away. I don't know. Okay, what Kitty just waved. So Kitty was one that you all voted off, decided she was going to go.
No, they were voting for her to do the closing credits.
They were voting for her to do the closing thing on the night I said, tonight we're voting on which character gets killed. So
They didn't pay attention.
But she was given the rose, which means Squidge is also the only character that's safe.
Right. So, due to shows and other things, some people have to take a break. They're going to be back. This cast that you see right here is the first cast of Goblonia, and second cast of Goblonia, third cast of Goblonia, technically. This is the third cast of Goblonia. This is Team Science. That's what we call it behind the scenes. And the decision has been made that we're going to pull other people in to join Team Science, as long as we still have a member of Team Science on the screen. Once all four of these people decide, yeah, we're done playing Goblonia, I don't know, we'll pull in some other awesome people. But I think for November, December, some cast members are stepping away, some cast members are staying, and we're bringing in May Hemmer to fill the gap. She's been wanting to play Goblonia, but had a buying a house thing and all this other stuff that kept her from jumping in on this last couple of sets of missions.
She did when we were when our show was on Sundays. She was in the cast, so it was like some of these. Cubby, you weren't in that Sunday show, were you? You were in the. Yeah, you were. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were. Shoshi was not. She was the guest.
Yes.
And I think Kitty, you were not in the Sunday show.
Mm-mm.
No, I was
What we
doing
did
fair.
on Sunday. Yeah, that's right.
She was
You were
was
doing
on
fair.
the council, but we did not grant her the rank of master.
Right. You know, I was answering someone's question and I have lost it. We got sidetracked. I'm scrolling back through to see what the
You were
question
asking
is.
about the sessions intermission.
Oh, right. We jumped away to answer that one. But it was the one about the ashes.
Oh, what's your favorite item you've ever
Well,
received?
somebody
Yeah.
mentioned something about how much leeway, how much play Cubby has gotten out of those ashes.
Oh, yeah.
And there's actually, Cubby decided to take one of the perks on his calling sheet, which is an animate minion. The Smarty Pants gets a intelligent minion, gets a minion if they take this perk that can help them out. And Cubby was like, "Oh, I've got these ashes. I'm going to keep them. This is going to be my minion." So actually paid his advancement to take that minion and keep those ashes, and has been able to use them. So yes, that inspired him to make choices on the character to go in a certain direction. And
Thanks,
spend
guys. It's all your fault.
There is a question about the items. What has been your favorite item so far given to you?
I'm gonna give a character sheet for this.
I'm going to start because a couple of my favorite are obviously the prehensile ashes and the zombie thing. So, and then it was originally actually Robert's idea. He was like, "Oh, you could take a devoted minion as your perk and keep the zombie thing." And I was like, I know how to make that even more unnecessarily complicated. So here's what happened is that Dr. Pibb kept both the zombie thing and the prehensile ashes, and they became really good friends. But over time, the zombie thing got weaker and weaker, and the prehensile ashes, while they were getting stronger, started helping zombie thing out. But as the zombie hand deteriorated more and more, the ashes grew stronger and stronger, and eventually it was just ashes in a glove in memory of their friend. Also, I love it every time I get explosives.
Yeah, explosives are, yes.
I love
Yep.
the very touching and really heartwarming backstory that's going to have
Right,
its own
which
spin-off movie.
which all happened off screen. Like, we didn't see any of that. For those of you like, what? Did I miss that? No, that was all in Cubby's mind. That happened off screen. But it's nice that he has a story to go with why his prehensile ashes that were given to him as a random thing. There you go.
Kitty,
Anybody else? What was your favorite item? That was
I think I'd have to say the cheese wallet, because I ended up making that a permanent item, because I can't have an animated thing, but a kook lets you make a permanent item. And I was like, I think Bigor always needs to have just cheese on hand, I think.
Yeah.
So
That
it's
needs
a
to be-
wallet. Is it okay? So I need clarification. We keep asking this. Is the wallet itself made out of cheese?
It's a cheese wallet, Mab. It's a
Yeah.
cheese wallet. It's just like it sounds.
Yeah, it's a cheese wallet.
I don't know how
Okay,
to
but-
make it any clearer.
Yeah.
But when you open it up,
Cheese
it's got
wallet.
slices of cheese.
Cheese wallet.
It's a cheese wallet map.
Okay, but
Yeah.
is it like a billfold?
Okay, you know what cheese is, right?
Yeah.
You know
mhm,
what wallets are? Cheese wallet.
It's a cheese
Yeah, okay.
wallet.
But if you open it, is it like a little cheese change purse
I-
built into this?
I mean, if you open it, there's going to be cheese in there. It's a cheese
Because
wallet.
it's a cheese wallet.
Yeah.
Cheese wallet.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
hearing what you're saying. Okay, but I
Yeah.
do need a couple of points of.
So
I
if
would
you
never
take
know.
anything out of the wallet, it will be cheesy.
No.
Let me see if I can
It's
help.
gonna have
here.
cheese.
Uh-huh,
Mab.
uh-huh.
All right, Kitty.
Yeah.
Mab. It's a cheese wallet.
Yeah.
She gets it.
Thank you, Kitty.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anybody
Thank
else?
you, Reverend Tommy.
Anyone else? Yeah, let's, you know what? I was holding a comment, but let's just put that one up there.
Okay,
think
so
I'm picking up.
I gotta say my favorite has to be the corpse because it just turned into such an awesome visual that will haunt all of our dreams forever. It had so many places to put other items that I had already.
Yeah, I had actually blocked that out. Thank you.
No,
That corpse lived a full life after that.
I brought with
That
me
corpse
a
is
cricket
essentially
bat,
a wallet.
some soup.
Oh my God, Mab, you just give up.
It's a cheese
She
wallet.
doesn't.
It's not a corpse wallet, Mab. It's a cheese wallet.
Every wallet is a corpse wallet. Leather is just skin. I'm sorry I had to get real there, people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for my truth bombs.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But we did blow that corpse's ass up.
Yep.
Yeah, it was real good.
We couldn't have done it without you, Chad.
While it was vomiting. Oh yeah, and I used pocket meat on that one.
And you use pocket meat, yes. Yeah. Every wallet is a corpse wallet.
I have a thing that I want to throw out there, and feel free to veto El Presidente. But so you know how we have to pick our 5 items to start with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if, just for the sake of the chat spending their points, what if we just magically always have those things? Like we can't add more stuff to the 5 that we think of to bring, but we always have those things just so that we can get to use them for them.
Mm-hmm. I see where you're going with this. It's like it's always on the list.
We talked about doing that, and we'll talk about it some more.
Okay.
Because I don't know the answer.
What if we send a squib to reach into the ether to grab one of those things?
Well, you know, I'm actually going to take the next the next thing for Myrtleine is the deep pockets core ability, where like she's got these pockets. You just spend a squib and reaches into her pocket and pulls out something that's handy for the moment.
Yep. So, and I think that's part of the reason. Like the 5 things is part of the mechanics of the game, which is what I wanted to show off while we're doing the Kickstarter. But there's also abilities in the game that are item based. So I don't want to add new mechanics to the game for the show around those items. But if somebody spends points, you've got that item. But
I'm talking about ones from like weeks ago. Like, you know, I've got a bat named Belfry that comes when I ring a bell, a string cheese rope, a sleeping bag of holding. I didn't get to use any of these yet.
But you can. That's the deal on the channel. You can. Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. Talk about cheese.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, the idea is if it's given to you, you have it till you use it, which I love that mechanic because we did find them on the streets of Goblonia, so of course they're only good for one use.
Oh, okay. So we do get to have them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never
and if
mind
you
then.
want one of those things as your 5 things, by all means, write it down, but you don't have to.
But you don't,
Oh,
but you can have additionally 5 things.
Oh, okay.
Those don't take up your 5 thing slot.
Right.
That's where I think
okay.
the disconnect is happening. So you're good.
I forget. Kitty was probably not here when we had that discussion. Kitty had to not be in an episode.
I did have one day that, yeah.
Yeah, the hangover did not end at dinner time. It just kept going.
And then we were all like, should we tell Kitty about this rule? And we were like, no.
Like
She's
Kitty,
not here.
Kitty came back and didn't even know that you all had finished the mission.
I know, that was an awkward. I was like, oh, we did just finish the mission without
we did.
her. That
was
ending happened so fast. You're right. We were that was great though, by the way. That was the whole like convoluted 3 episodes of convoluted thing, and then Myrtleine comes in and she's like, why don't we just come over ahead and ditch him?
Yeah. And part of that is also the nature of doing shows on Twitch is we don't want, like, you can drag stuff out at your own table. You can spend months on D&Ding in the same stupid tavern and not going anywhere. But to keep things going on Twitch, there have been episodes where like, and we're done. Like last week, unfortunately, Cubby had this awesome thing that he was doing with the stealing the stuff and the cheese monster, and we flat out ran out of time.
Yeah, that was all set up. The opera was way more important.
So it was like, oh crap, we have 10 minutes to go. Cubby, what are you doing? Be quick about it. Great. Back to, and we're ending. So, and that's just trying to fit it in the 2-hour slot and knowing
such a good opera.
I mean,
it was
That
Act
That's one of my
two,
favorites.
Act 2 needs some work. But most of your audience left at
What?
intermission today.
Act 2 is perfection. You don't know art, man.
Oh, that was
Man.
intermission? I
That
thought
was-
it just was a really short opera.
It was just really short opera. I'm going to answer this question because you all haven't given me any items, but I looked around and found something that I really like that was given to me.
Oh,
That's just going to show you a reflection of my screen, isn't it? So
No, it's very cool.
this is
That's
a woodcut, from Labyrinth that hangs beside my desk. This was done.
No, it's not from Labyrinth Star.
I'm sorry, from Dark Crystal that hangs beside my desk, and it was created. It was given to me by my wife, but it was created by. You did give me earplugs. Thank you. I have used them. I've used them every time I've muted Cubby. This was given to me probably for my birthday by my wife, but it is done by my friend who is an artist, Katie Lennon. It is number 2 out of 250 signed limited prints. And today is her birthday. So she's probably not watching the show, but happy birthday anyway, Katie frickin' Lennon.
Make sure you have a life. Happy birthday, Katie.
Yes. Happy
Speaking of
birthday,
birthday,
Katie.
happy birthday,
it-
Katie. When you
Happy
guys
birthday,
come
Katie.
back, the 17th, that's my birthday.
That's your birthday.
yay.
Uh-huh.
Wait,
We got
and then Cubby, your birthday is soon after that, right?
It's the week after.
Yeah.
It's the 24th.
We're gonna celebrate Are we gonna celebrate your birthday on the screen? Or is that the week you're not gonna be here because it's your birthday?
I've never really like stopped. No, my birthday is on a Wednesday.
It's on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's on a Wednesday. So it's Cubby's 21st birthday. We're gonna take him drinking. So we're gonna do the show from the pub in Philly.
Ooh, I like that.
Paulo is paying for all the plane tickets,
Ooh,
audience included.
Can we
That
go
would be
somewhere
so
besides
awesome.
Philadelphia then?
No, it's your birthday. You don't get a plane ticket. What are you talking about? It's just that's Shoshi. She's the big Hollywood star that gets her hair paid for. I'm sure she can swing a plane ticket to Philly for character research.
Oh, easily.
So some other quick questions on
Budget
here.
request.
Sir David asks, would you ever do a game with a co-author for the actual system? I am a freelance author for role-playing games, so I have written on other people's games. And I am in early talks with one of my friends who's also a game designer about something he wants to work on together. The long and short of it is I actually don't enjoy freelance writing. I want to write what I want to write, and I want to make the things I want to make. So it feels like work when I have to write what somebody else has asked me to write. And I don't like work to feel like work. So I enjoy working on my own stuff more, but I would not rule out working with someone else. It just comes down to, where the lines are drawn, what the jobs are, what the parameters are. I've been approached to co-write fiction with people, and the only way I think I could do that is if it was an exchange between characters, like doing a pen pal thing. Or at one point somebody wanted to do just that, where Gandersnitch and this other character were writing letters back and forth, sort of like a pen pal self-help kind of thing.
Gandersnitch and Screw Tape.
So, but it never materialized. So I'm not opposed to writing with other people. I do write with other people when they pay me to do it. And there may be some future games in the works. Like after Goblonia and after all the work that I'm putting into it, essentially as a one-person studio, now I hire out an artist. I hired Thomas Boatwright, the amazing artist. I've hired 4 other authors now to write short sections of the book, scenarios of the book, their own twist on Goblonia. And I hire an editor. So I'm not doing everything by myself, but I'm sort of managing everything, and it's my vision. And let me tell you, I would love to have a partner that was working on all this stuff with me. That would be great. But yeah, so there's
clearly,
that.
You've got to be in charge. You were the alpha.
I think you and I did a show together, and it worked really well.
That's because I let you be in charge.
I let you be in charge.
Oh, that's how it should be. That's nice.
Aw, that's true. That was a fun show.
Yeah.
Why are we not doing that anymore?
Because it was a pain in the ass to make.
Yeah. And you know what? If you look out on the internet, I think the domain still exists. Goblin Talk.
Goblin Talk
Robert
probably
and
does.
I did a podcast of 2 goblins talking. It was Wengie and Ganger Snitch.
It was great.
And the podcast was designed to be listened to while pooping. So
it was like 15 minutes, 5,
yeah, it
10,
was anywhere
15
between
minutes.
5 to 20 minutes long.
So like a couple episodes ago?
You could maybe do a couple episodes ago.
I mean, do you spend more than 20 minutes pooping?
Yeah,
I think that's what he's
poop.
implying.
Is this a trick question?
Yeah. Yes, there's medicine for that, Cubby. So yeah, go back and look at it. The thing was with that show, we wanted it to be an interview style show. So we were interviewing other people, and it was the logistics of me living in Ohio, Mab living in DC, and whoever we were interviewing living wherever in the world, and trying to get the 3 of us together to record without anything else going on.
So I have a question. How did you all make sure you had to poop at the same time while you were recording this?
Oh, yeah, excellent question. We saved up our poo, and then we had like a special compartment that we kept it in. Yes,
mine was just grocery bags.
Did you save it up in you or out of you?
It depended on the diet. Yeah.
Depended on the show. Really, there was one show all about poop cutlery, with a sword swallower. We made bumper stickers, and someone bought one. So, here we go. Next question. Robert said rules were changing in Goblonia up until the final version is sent to the printer. That is true. Are there notable changes we would notice in the next mission? I'm not sure there are notable changes that you would notice in the next mission. Where we are right now with the game, I just finished the final pass through of the first chapter of the game today, like 5 minutes before I logged into the show. So that is ready to go to the final beta readers and then on to the editor. And that had some changes. Mostly it was cuts. It was, this paragraph isn't needed. This isn't needed. Let's move this over here. Clean this up so it all flows. That's where we are right now, is clarity and flow. So there's not a lot of rules changes, but there are things that have come up during playtest, because we playtest every Friday night. I playtest with a private group. There are other groups out there that have the full rules or the quick start rules. You can still get the quick start rules from our website. I wanted to take them down, and then I found out I cannot. So they're up there until I replace them. I could take them off the Google Drive, but I can't take the link off the Kickstarter page. So people would go there and say, oh, there's nothing here, and get pissed. So they're there. But so people are playtesting it on their own and sending feedback that I will still try to incorporate until we go to print. And the Friday night game and this game. Actually, there was a change in this game that I don't know that everyone noticed it. But at one point we were saying every test always starts with one card. There's one for the test. And the feedback I got from external playtesters was that is confusing. We don't like that. We would rather it just be you use your paths, you draw that many cards, any bonuses you have, and that's your hand. And there was a big argument behind the scenes, not with this group here on screen, but with me and my playtesters and my sort of advisory council of people on Discord that give feedback, other game designers stuff. And there was a long discussion about this. And it finally came down to, guys, I know we don't think this is complicated because we've been playing it this way for months. But the very first time someone picks up the game, if they say, this is complicated, I'm having trouble understanding it, I have to listen to that. And I have to say, okay, how do we simplify this without losing the essence of the mechanic? And what we did was we dropped one for the test. We just dropped it. We don't say it on the stream anymore because we don't do it. Your cards are your paths plus your bonuses. We actually experimented with raising all the paths by 1 dot. Everybody got 1 free dot. Kitty was shocked because she came back 1 week. She had 1 free dot. And the next week I took them away because it made everything too easy. And we saw that in our private play tests. Suddenly the game got easy. And it's a game that's supposed to embrace failure. And if your goblins aren't really failing anymore, we've lost a core part of the game. So that did change in the middle of our stream. Other things that may change, there's some background stuff about Goblonia, just some clarifications that are sort of changing. Some names for things are getting ironed out. The structure of the city watch is getting laid in, and some of the bureaucracy is getting laid in. But we haven't touched on that in the stream. That's in the game book. And some of the abilities are being tweaked. Little things to help people clarify, or if a playtester says, you know what, I've got this, I don't know when to use it. And the one time I did use it, it didn't feel fun. It was underwhelming. So that final balance of this power does a little bit too much. It's too easy to abuse. How do we clarify that to get it back in the spirit of the power? Or this one's no fun because it doesn't do enough compared to these other things. Why would anybody take it? How do we find the spirit of what this ability was supposed to be and get back to that, so that not everybody's going to enjoy every calling, not everybody's going to enjoy every ability or see a use for it, but somebody should be able to see it and enjoy it. So that's the changes that are happening now. There's final balancing things. And there are 2 calling playbooks, the Urchin, which was unlocked during the Kickstarter.
Yes.
That was released to Kickstarter backers. It has changed because we started playtesting it. The Troll was also unlocked. I just finished the first version of the Troll last night, and then had a discussion with my behind the scenes team, changed it again last night. So version 2 of the Troll is going into playtesting, and we're going to playtest it with the Patreon folks before we let it out to the Kickstarter backers, because I'm not sure that it's quite there yet. We have to see how some of the stuff plays. So that's the answer. Yes, stuff is changing. Are you going to see any major changes? No, not at this point.
There's that one rule you told me about. You said that now if anyone's playing a Smarty Pants, they have to be quiet whenever the Weaver tells them to.
No, that's just you. That's just, yeah. That's and you still didn't take the note, so now I just have that. So it's that special magical power there. No.
What about the one where operas are mandatory? Is that a new? Can we have that in the? I'm actually going to go sneak in when I do the proofread and add that line, I think, to all of the.
I think before you publish, you should let Mab just like have a go at it.
Yeah.
Well, what I may actually do, because now that we have unlocked. I say we have unlocked that second color of ink. I am having to work this out, how this actually works with the printer, because it may just end up that we go full color, because it's really freaking hard to add in that second color of ink. So yeah, there's some particularities about it that I didn't quite realize were going to be in place in order to do this. So if it's not going to look cool, I'm not going to do it. And if we can instead afford to go full color, I'll go full color, because I don't want to do it just because, we said we could do it and it's actually going to make the book look crappy. We're not going to do that. So we're seeing, but the idea behind that was we have a second color that we can write goblin commentary in the margins of the book and
All right,
print
I like
those.
where this is going.
So because we do have an entire document that at this point stands at 25,000 words of extra crap that doesn't go in the book. Now, some of it's stuff that's been cut and is just there in case we need to go back and pull sentences or paragraphs from it. But other stuff is, it's called dangly bits because it's the other stuff that would be sidebars or commentaries that doesn't quite fit in the rules and may end up as, like, if we have the second color ink, we can put the comments in the margins of the page. So I could probably send Mab this, say, print it out and just write all over it and send it back to me. And some of those things that she writes could end up in the game. I
got a
did
tablet.
Yeah.
I could
You could just write it on
digitally.
there. But yes, so there was something else. BLC Blondie just shouts out fiber.
We were talking about
pooping.
cutlery.
We were
Yeah.
talking about poop. Okay, right. I like that. All right. So that's
wow. There has been so much information. Robert, you are an incredible well that you can talk about this game. You're so passionate about it for the full 2 hours. And
I don't want to.
I love listening to you go on about it. The you have your own stream that I listen to as well, and it's hearing the evolution of this game has been awesome. I've appreciated that. Really, what I'm trying to say is you're awesome. And
all right, and stop talking. Let somebody else talk.
I want to say in response to Sally A's comment, it's a cheese wallet. It's obvious. The answer to all of this is obvious. It's a cheese wallet.
Cheese wallet.
Cheese wallet.
So BLC Blondie, all goblins should have a cheese wallet. I went through 5 notebooks of notes, little notepads like this, getting the core rules up to date of playtest notes that have been, and now a lot of the pages look like this, where most stuff was scratched out and one thing was circled, which means I still had to do that circled thing. And on here, on one of the pages, I had a note that said cheese puns, and it was circled. And I spent a good bit of time yesterday trying to figure out what the hell does that note mean. Where was I thinking that it would be a good idea to put cheese puns in the game?
everywhere.
Clearly, I thought it was important enough to write it down.
You know, this is making me think all of the comments and the
good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All the things that the people have been throwing at us, and the cheese wallet and stuff. You know, we had the Eisendoors Vault of Tragic Treasures that we did the work with Penny Dragon Press over in Ireland, and it's this whole compendium of things that are awesome. And I'm thinking, I'm already planning ahead for your next Kickstarter. A list of
an item
awesome
book
items. Does this exist yet?
No, but there's a note. Book of crazy goblin gear.
That could be an amazing like a $1 zine pamphlet thing for your booth.
Yeah, it
And
could
it's
be
just a list of stuff.
Yes. Drive Through RPG does this April Fool's thing every year where companies release an April Fool's product, usually for free. Sometimes it costs $1 or $2. And I've always wanted to participate, but I've never had something at that point in time. This would be an excellent April Fool's addition to the Goblonia line. People have asked, what's the next book? What's the evolution of Goblonia? I don't freaking know. I got to get the first game book out. That's where we are right now. What's coming in the future? We don't know. Part of it will depend on, I don't like making plans for expansions. Like there is a planned expansion for Weird Scouts. But but Weird Scouts launched at an unfortunate time, and sales have not been great because of it came out in the middle of the pandemic, and there weren't conventions there to get that push and get that name out. So there may not be an expansion for Weird Scouts because there may not be the money there to do an expansion. So we'll see. So I don't like saying, oh, there's going to be this expansion for Goblonia. When we were making Weird Scouts, we knew there's this stuff that doesn't go in this book. We want it for a second book. We'll see. We'll see. Do I have material for a second Goblonia book? Not yet. But there are ideas that have been bandied around. I love the idea of putting together a crazy goblin gear.
I mean, you could definitely have other people help you build this together, and then you just
I'll send
edit
you
it.
all the ones that I have written down.
Yes,
Seriously, I was
absolutely.
thinking the same thing.
We'll just it'll be the Nat 21 thing. For the players, thank you. Let the players talk. What has been the best part of playing Goblonia?
Being a goblin.
You got 15 minutes to sit there and hem and haw
Yeah.
about it. So
Doing rad goblin shit.
Yeah.
I think it's finally playing a game that really embraces failure in a way that I love. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do in any game, and this one really rewards you for it. And that's
Describing how you fail is really fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then a piano fell on me.
Oh, I have actually moved the comment about you are not playing in a cartoon up much further in the book. If it doesn't land on page 1, it now lands on page 2. That was one of the things I did today.
I don't know why you gotta feel the need to say
welcome.
that. Thank you. It actually was not from you. It was from that comment went in the book from Joshua Safford, dear friend of mine. But he got frustrated at one point in playtesting, and he said, "Why? Why is this limitation? Why are there any limitations? Aren't we essentially playing a Looney Tunes cartoon?" And I said, "No, that's not the game I'm making. That game has already been made. So
it's a fun game.
It is a fun game, but it's not the point of Goblonia." So one of the early things we talk about in the rules is this a comedy? And my answer is it doesn't have to be, because comedy is hard. So we're not setting out to tell you have to be funny. Find the comedy in the chaos, and you do that because goblins take themselves and their world absolutely serious. And that's absurd and funny. So more words than that.
Cubby is definitely not playing a comedy. Cubby is absolutely playing a very serious docudrama.
I feel like it's inherently a tragic character.
Yes. But that's what makes it so damn funny.
Well, as Bender said in Futurama, let's face it, comedy is dead. Now tragedy, that's funny.
Right.
I'll say the people. Honestly, it's because I mean, Robert, I've heard about
back on the question
for years, but I didn't get to meet you until I started playing the game, and like everyone I've met in like both versions of Goblonia that I've played has been so incredible. Also, it is so much fun to just be a goblin going around blowing stuff up.
Thank you. Yep. I will fully admit, Cubby, that I had never heard of you until Shoshi said you need to be on this game.
She's mentioned you. She's mentioned Cubby all the time. She never stops talking about
Cubby.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. But I didn't realize Shoshi was talking about an actual person. And
she wasn't.
But actually, now that
hand puppet next to her, ask her to raise both of her hands. She can't.
I would. I totally could. I definitely. My other hand could totally. Here, wait. Give me 1 second. I'll show you. See, both hands. See, right? I can totally do it. And now I'm gonna put that other hand away, and don't ask me again.
You guys are great.
But let me add to that even though I didn't know who you were before the game, I absolutely love you now that you're in the game.
Nobody believed me when I told everyone how cool Cubby is.
Right? Because we actually talked about you to the other people running games.
I have that problem a lot, especially with people who've met me. I'm like, no, I'm really cool. I'm really cool. Hang out with me.
I thought you were somebody's boyfriend who lives in Canada. That's why he's not here right now.
There you go.
No, I just go to a different school than you, Kitty. That's why.
Right.
Right.
But now, in my defense, because I'm sort of in the middle armpit of the United States, people like Mab and Shoshi and Kitty and Joshua and everybody I know talks about all these amazing performers that they know on the East Coast or in Chicago or in LA. And I'm like, they sound like great people, but I'm never going to meet them. So, yes, we are glad to have you, Cubby. And when Paulo actually said, hey, do you want to do a second thing of Goblonia? Who do you want in the cast? You were in my top 7 picks.
1770 picks.
I think there were only like 6 people that had been playing, so.
Next question. For me as a viewer, the best part has been the creativity of the players describing their failures and injuries. Thank you. And then Sally agrees. So good job, players. Oh, what has been your favorite scene so far?
The opera. What?
The opera was real good.
Opera was pretty great.
Epic.
I just can't get over that after a really long adventure and abusing this one random gob, we took his eyeball.
Yeah. That was gonna be it for me. Was that oh my goodness.
And Curdly Mo Besser just didn't have any fight left in him.
Yeah.
But we're not evil. We're not.
No.
We're goblins. Why did we take his eyeball?
Because you needed an eyeball for something.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Rocket Raccoon syndrome.
Oh, because he asked us to go and kill someone and bring back the eyeball?
Yeah, and we wanted him to briefly believe we had done it before we betrayed him and beat him up.
Right. You didn't even need it.
Not really.
I mean, it helped a lot. It gave us the element of surprise, really.
I gotta start drinking less when I play these games because I don't remember that at all.
Curdly, that was the episode you missed. Curdly Mo.
Oh, okay.
Curdly Mo. And there was another enemy that was going on the sheet from that adventure. Like Phineas thought was totally going to become your enemy until you all just had to keep needling at Curdly Mo, who was there to sort of help you, and that's where the giant leeches came in, which are now, so that's a change. Giant leeches are now in the core book as a thing you can encounter in the sewers of Goblonia, because a viewer threw it out there as a suggestion. We took it, and it worked so well that giant leeches are now a thing that exists in the world of Goblonia. But yeah, poor old Curdly Mo.
I think Dracula's stepdaughter makes a really great point, and I'm starting to doubt your commitment to the cause, Robert.
There you go. Well, I Cubby, in case you hadn't picked up on this, I'm actually rooting for the bad guys.
Who are the bad guys again?
I don't know. Is it us or not? Because we did straight up steal somebody's eyeball for no reason.
Yeah, I feel like it's us, right?
Yeah,
bad guy?
You're the bad. I'm totally rooting for you all. That's
duh.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the thing I discovered. I often do this, yay, unironically, but then I realized that when I do it for Team Science, I'm just doing sign language for S.
Oh,
Team Science.
There you go.
So
Reverend Tommy says he's rooting for you all to fail, which I'm okay with that. I mean,
no, I think
game.
That's
you.
the point of the
Thank you,
game.
Reverend Tommy.
Yeah.
Wait.
do not wear matching uniforms with skulls on your hat. Then you can deny you're the baddies. Yeah. There you
Checks
go.
out, man.
And as long as you don't have like an introductory speech about how horrible you are, go Team Rocket, then nobody will ever know.
Oh, those things sound really cool, though. Can we? Maybe
Yeah,
we should.
I would like to do monologues, please.
Reconsider. Yeah.
I'd like to denounce the evil of truth and love. Can we work that in there? I know it's got nothing to do with what we're doing, but we should play lip service.
Yeah. Denouncing the evil of truth and love. You are goblins. You are goblins. And that was a section that I worked on today about how goblins are not evil. They just live in a difficult world and have to make morally gray choices.
Yeah, so cut him a little slack.
Cut them some slack here.
Yeah.
Titania's
Take
the
that
evil
eyeball.
one.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, just take that eyeball. It's like a morally gray world.
Yeah, if Titania's evil, then anything we do by definition is not evil.
Correct. I think we
Let
actually
me check the coaster. Not evil. The
Not
coaster is
evil.
Not evil.
Not evil. Yeah. So if we missed your question, we didn't do it intentionally. I'm scrolling back through. I don't see anymore. Just to remind you, it's a cheese wallet.
Keep it seriously.
wallet.
Is it made of
It's the cheese wallet.
How many? What is it?
It's
Cheese
just-
and slices, or is
Just
it like
think of a
It's a
cheese
cheese-
wallet, and you're thinking of the.
And that's what it is.
It's a
It
cheese
is
wallet.
It's a cheese wallet.
I will find it someday.
That's what it is. So just to remind everybody, Kickstarter is over, so don't go try and back it. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, that's okay. We hit funding. It will be available in the spring. But you can get the free Quick and Dirty edition at our website, wicked-clever.com/Goblonia, talking about things that are changing. That will be getting an update. That will be getting overhauled once the core book is sent off to the editor, because there are some things in that are no longer current. So it is a fully playable version of the rules, but it is a playtest version of the rules. And just based on the time allotted and the deadlines we have to hit, I have switched gears from making sure that was up to date during the Kickstarter to getting the rest of the game back up to date. And once the rest of the game is back up to date, we will update that Quick and Dirty version as a final version with the changes that have gone in the playbooks and things like that, so that everyone will be able to get that. We have time for one last. We don't have time for one last question. We got 4 minutes. Does anybody want to say anything? Shout
Yeah.
out.
The egret did not drop off my book last week. I don't understand.
Okay, let me explain that
I can't-
part
yeah,
then, because there's some confusion here.
Harry?
Even though it was
Was
clearly
it a stork?
It was clearly posted on the Kickstarter where it says,
Uh-huh.
when will you get your rewards?
I didn't read
May
all that
of
stuff.
2022.
All
We
right.
raised the money in order to print the book.
No, it
So-
may arrive in 2022 if the birds don't bring it.
If the birds don't bring it. So, and to set expectations, as a company, as a publisher, as a creator, I strive to under promise, over deliver. Is that I was going to get it backwards. Over promise and undeliver. That's not what I do. Every Kickstarter that I have ever done has shipped on time or early, with the exception of Weird Scouts, which the book printer was shut down because of the pandemic, and we could not get the book printed until they opened back up, and we ended up missing our deadline. So that is a thing that we as a company, which is not common to companies on Kickstarter, we set a deadline that we intend to meet. Now, when we set that deadline, we did not build in 6 extra weeks for new authors to come on and write stuff, for Thomas to draw 10 new illustrations. We set the deadline based on the book that we had at that moment for the $8,000. We raised $15,000. We're making extra content for the book. So things had to shift a little bit. We still think that we will be shipping this book to people in May of 2020. If we don't hit it, it's not because we weren't trying. So I want it early, and I get personally disappointed if it's not. So that's where we're going. Okay. Yes, Cubby.
So apparently it's going to come by emu. Is what I saw on the
Emu.
chat, which is
Yes.
great, because I already deployed the Australian army to intercept.
Yeah.
So this is going to go smooth.
This is actually important, and I don't know if these people are still watching. So when I say we raised $15,000, the Kickstarter says we raised $15,400 and something dollars, too, maybe. However, there are 4 people that have until tomorrow night to fix whatever email Kickstarter sent you that they didn't charge your card. So if your last name is Puma, Ewald, Lee, or Death, you may want to check your email. So Puma, Ewald, Lee, or Death, check your email, log into Kickstarter if you want a copy of the book, because tomorrow night Kickstarter says, oh, you didn't get back to us, you're gone. And they take your name off my list because they didn't take any money from you. And I don't have anything. I didn't get your money, but you don't get a book. So if your last name is Death, that's one of the ones that didn't come
What's
through.
Death's first name?
I'm not going to say first names.
Damn it.
I'm not going to say first names. That's giving out personal information, but those are pretty common last names. So if that's your last name, check the Kickstarter because you might want to check in on that. If you want to copy the book. Holy crap. It's 10 o'clock. All right.
Closing thoughts, round robin.
Closing thoughts.
And then Kitty has to do another outro commercial.
What?
That I just voted for.
Mm-hmm.
I also vote for Kitty.
Yes, I second. I third that.
Great.
All right. We're not going to talk about the other shows because we have a credit reel to roll that has those in there. If I actually uploaded it, I got the 2-minute mid bumper that we didn't do.
Closing thoughts. Go, Shoshi.
Closing thoughts.
It's a cheese wallet.
Uh-huh.
It is.
Okay. Cubby.
Cheese wallet. Cheese wallet.
Kitty.
I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said, really. And I'm about to have to say a whole bunch of stuff, so.
So pass.
Okay.
Yes.
Closing thoughts. I would do it again.
Oh.
With or without the cheese wallet?
Oh,
No.
with. God, duh.
With.
Cheese wallet is
Only with.
mandatory now.
Only with.
Mandatory.
My closing thoughts I said at the beginning. Thank you all. Seriously, thank you all. Because you all are watching the show, commenting on the show, enjoying the show, we're going to keep the show going. And this goes beyond the Kickstarter. That's over. We're making the game. But because y'all are having fun, we're going to keep entertaining you. That's what we do. So thank you for that. All right. Everybody wave goodbye. I guess tomorrow there's a Grand Saints game. That's a thing that's happening, evidently. I don't know what that means, but Reverend Tommy said it. There we go.
Are you up for it,
Cheers. Cheers. We're making Kitty full screen. I don't know why we're making Kitty full screen, but
She
you
might
got
regret
it.
it.
Here you go.
You might
Here you
regret
go.
it.
And then I'm going to roll the closing credits. So, Kitty, whatever's
All
on
right.
your mind.
Well, since I'm the only one who's actually dedicated to the cause of pants removal, I'm gonna let you guys watch me put them back on. I think these are my pants. They're kind of hard to see with 2 pairs of glasses on. I don't know if they're inside out or not, but here we go. Ta-da! How's that for closing remarks?